So you're going to want to know all about this. So, and just like that, the XFL is sending players to the NFL already, even though the XFL training camp has not officially begun. Per XFL analyst and Aaron Wilson, the XFL has had 6 of their draftees so far, as of this recording, recently signed NFL contracts, with several more continuing to work out for NFL teams. He's got the list right here. Jamarcus Bradley, wide receiver, D'Angelo Ross from Houston, Julian Davenport, offensive so basically St. Louis Battlehawks, Jamarcus Bradley, wide receiver Jamarcus Bradley, Battlehawks cornerback D'Angelo Ross, and then Seattle offensive tackle Julian Davenport, Arizona Cardinals, Seattle Seahawks defensive end Nico Lamos, New Orleans, and San Antonio defensive lineman Prince Emili from New Orleans as well. We will keep you posted on that. So far, the Battlehawks, Sea Dragons, and Brahmas have all lost players with 2 apiece. The Battlehawks lose Jamarcus Bradley, who was recently a part of the Browns training camp and will now be joining the Steelers. D'Angelo Ross joins the Texans, who signed him to the practice squad on November 22nd. The Sea Dragons lost Julian Davenport and Nico Lalos, both of whom were signed the same day they were drafted by the XFL. Both Davenport and Lalos have NFL experience and have appeared and started multiple games for NFL teams. Joining Lalos in New Orleans is Prince Emili, drafted by the San Antonio Brahmas, who was picked up the defensive lineman in the XFL's 29th round. Bubba Bolden, a 2022 UDFA, will be temporarily leaving the Brahmas and joining the Browns. While the NFL continues to look for talent as injuries and wear and tear mount, it's expected more XFL draftees continue to work out and sign with NFL teams. Among recent workouts were Battlehawks draftee Emike Mboulier working out for the Steelers, along with Brahmas draftee running back Calvin Turner and Roughneck draftee long snapper Brian Kuroy, both working out for the Raiders. That's from Aaron Wilson. Additional XFL news, as Mike Mitchell reported in September, D'Eriq King was slated to join the DC Defenders come the QB selection process. However, due to an injury to former Houston Roughnecks P.J. Walker and the Carolina Panthers playing the Ravens, D'Eriq King was signed to the practice squad of the Panthers hours before the XFL QB assignment. Fortunately for King, he was released by the Panthers on November 22nd. However, he may not be employed for long, as the Defenders only selected 1 quarterback during the XFL draft, and King may be back on the Defenders roster sooner rather than later. However, we won't find out basically until the next draft. Another former XFL quarterback has also found employment. Chase Litton, also known as Boog, was recently signed by the Calgary Stampeders this past week. Litton has bounced around the CFL since the XFL 2.0 ceased operations. Originally an undrafted free agent out of Marshall in 2018, Litton has spent time with the Chiefs and Jaguars before getting selected by the Dragons in the XFL's 2019 supplemental draft. Litton will then be traded to the Tampa Bay Vipers and also had stints with the Ottawa Redblacks and Winnipeg Blue Bombers of the CFL. Despite being heavily suggested, Litton was passed over by the USFL during their 2022 draft. Just pointing that out as well. While a supplemental draft is scheduled to take place in January, it is always possible for many of these players to come back to the XFL. Per Mike Mitchell, the XFL has given all its draftees until December 26th to sign their contracts and commit to the 2023 season. While not sure will change for the season progresses, between the USFL releasing players come December 31st, and more players getting signed and released, it appears that until kickoff in February, the XFL rosters will be extremely fluid throughout the third interaction of the XFL. So something to keep in mind there. But players are going to move up and down. But again, these guys have until the end of December to sign these XFL contracts. They can move up and down and be on a roster. Really, we're not going to get the full breadth and crux of the XFL rosters until after, in that beginning of January, supplemental XFL draft, and once the NFL season, of course, dies down.